big bag. How we doing, guys? Apologies for being slow getting up here.
What will your message be to everybody tomorrow after the final session of this? And do you expect all of them to be able to start working in next week, or do some of them have to go back?
Yeah. It's not really a send-off in any way. It's really a continuation. That's one of the reasons we do it here the second weekend after the draft, is that these guys will stay here. You know, I know some specific guys might have some scheduling things that they have to take care of over the next few weeks, but for the most part, the whole group will stay here, and they'll get themselves slowly integrated back in with the veterans on Monday.
How eye-opening will that be for some of these guys when they're around the veterans and see what those guys do compared to what they did this week?
Yeah, you know, I think when you really think about their ages, and okay, Jason Witten played 15 years, so these guys are 21 or 22, so literally they were 5 and 6 years old when he came into the league, right? So I think for those guys, sometimes that's a little eye-opening. You know, they walk in the locker room, and I've been watching this guy play since I was in second grade, kind of a thing. And but I do think they get a chance to get acclimated over the course of this weekend, and they start to maybe get a little more comfortable, and that helps smooth that transition. But there's no question it'll be different when the veteran guys are here.
The rookies today pretty much the same when you first started coaching, whereas the evolution in teaching of football at the lower level is so much better now that they come and accelerate it?
That's a great question. I thought you were going with the human nature bent. You know, I think generations tend to be a little bit different. So that's something that we've talked about a lot as coaches, as to how you connect with kids who grow up with cell phones and technology and all of that, and how they learn and attention spans and some of those things. So that's something that we're very mindful of. Somehow, some way, connecting with them and relating to them where they can respond to what our teaching is. I don't know that there's a lot of differences. The other challenge that we have now is that obviously the schedule is different in the off season, so you have less time with them, less practices. You don't get the whole team for as long as you used to. So those are all considerations as you're putting the team together.
Looked like Weber hobbled off in the first practice this morning. Any cause for concern there?
Yeah, he hurt his knee in the practice, so they're going to get an MRI and just kind of check it out.
Speaking of generational things, John Kidnap said something kind of interesting today about when he was playing. You know, they just said stuff and they said we do it because it works. And he said now there's a lot more why. And sort of the teaching or whatever. Do you see that?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that challenged you to be a better teacher. I think that should always be a component of your teaching. You know, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it, and this is why we're doing it. And I think for me, when I was a student or a player, that always just resonated. If you do have some context with what you're doing, some history with it, some reasons behind it, I do think that can be more helpful in your understanding of it, instead of just simply blatantly memorizing things and we're just going to do it because they said so. I don't know. If you're going to work on a higher level, both as a player and as a coach, I think why is important. And we talk about that all the time. You know, why am I telling you this? Why are we putting this in? How does this fit in? What's the context? I think that's an important part of teaching and coaching.
Why do you think that the Cowboys organization has been able to have success bringing in undrafted, rookie free agents? Obviously, this year's class seems to be pretty impressive. Why do you think you guys have been able to do that?
Well, I think we take it very seriously, and I don't know the statistics relative to other teams. I do know that we've had some success, with college free agents, and that's an important part of the whole draft process. In some cases, you say, let's make this an 8-round draft or a 9-round draft. Let's put some money together and go get this guy, go target a particular player. I think that's an important part of it, just the overall emphasis by the organization to value that or value a particular player. I think we've done a really good job in that area. And then I just think our scouts do a really good job understanding what we're looking for. And again, it goes back to just everyone having a common vision for what the team should be all about. And, we preach that really on a daily basis. These are the kind of guys we want on our team because this is the kind of team we want to have. And that applies to what you're doing in the first round and certainly throughout the draft and free agency.
Did Kidna have a coaching curiosity when he was around you as a player, and how did you kind of keep in contact with him over the years when he was down here and when he went to the high school level?
Just always a really engaged guy who was interested in football. And, Kid has an amazing way with people, able to connect with lots of different kind of people, young and old, offense, defense. He just had that way about him when he was playing, and I think that really served him well throughout his playing career. But always good questions, always interested in what we're doing, always thinking about why we're doing things, and just a really fun guy to coach. Did not surprise me one bit that he went into coaching afterwards, and we just stayed in touch. When he was coaching high school football here in Texas, he would bring his staff up and spend time with us, and he's just an outstanding person. He's a true football guy, and we're lucky to have him in this organization.
Why is he the right guy to coach Dak right now?
I think he was coached really well during his career. He was well trained when he was a player. I was around Mike Martz for a lot of his career and a number of other really good coaches, and I think he really knows the quarterback position well. I think that's why he was able to play for as long as he did and for as well as he did. So I think that's an important foundation that he has. But he loves coaching. He loves teaching. He loves being around people. He's always had that way about him. And, as evidenced by his desire to go back up in the state of Washington, Texas. Last year he was in Arizona just coaching ball. And, again, I've been around him a lot. He's a very smart guy. He's very smart about quarterbacks. And I just felt like he'd do a good job relating to not only Dak but our other quarterbacks and really help them grow.
Some of those things that you talked about with him, is that why the two of you guys clicked so well when he was still playing?
He's just one of those guys. He probably clicks with most people. And again, that's one of the things that was probably line one for him, was his leadership and his ability to get the most out of people around him. And I think he took that very seriously. And again, he took the game very seriously and worked very hard on his skill and his craft. So hard not to connect with him, hard not to like him, and we certainly had a great experience together when he was playing here.
For some of these rookies that are here, it's the teacher ratio is 1-to-1 or 5-to-1. And these guys come in next week and it expands, and they don't have that one-on-one or such that direct attention. What do you tell them to say to keep them fully engaged and understand the process? That's
why it's so important to take advantage of this weekend, because Doug Nussmeier and Cody McElroy spent a lot of one-on-one time together, on the field in meetings. And, we laugh about it a little bit, but that's valuable time for both of them, for the coach to get to know the player and for the player to grow with undivided attention. And, we still have a pretty good coach-to-player ratio on our team when everybody gets here. That's the nature of staffs these days. But we'll also have some extra time with the rookies in and around what we're doing with the veteran players over the next few weeks. So we try to take advantage of all of that.
Jason, if a rookie wants extra time, can he get it? If a guy after practices, can you work with me a little bit here?
Yeah, there actually aren't any restrictions on the timetable for rookies. It's very different than a veteran player. And I don't want to say any. I think you can have a 10-hour day with the rookies. So that's never really been an issue. So what we'll do with our rookies is get them integrated with our veteran players, both in meetings and on the field, but also on Wednesday they'll do something. On Monday afternoon they'll do something. So they're a little bit on their own schedule, working their way in with the vets, but also a lot of other time here in the building, really just trying to catch up with the rest of the guys.
Do you ever worry about overloading them?
Not really. I think we have a pretty good feel for what we want them to do physically and also mentally. And again, they have to catch up. You want to get to a point at the end of August where you're evaluating players on a level playing field. You're not saying, oh, he's not as good, but he's a rookie, so we'll give him an advantage. They got to catch up with everybody else so you can keep the situation competitive and evaluate your team the right way.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thank you.
Good to see you guys.
Thank you.